Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is John and this is your Modern Tech Breakdown. Today I'm taking a look at a blog post from Perplexity AI going scorched earth against the media that is suing them. Let's jump into it. All right, so there's so many AI companies out there right now. Let's quickly recap on what Perplexity is if you're not familiar. Perplexity is a question and answer bot. It's a little bit similar to Google's AI overviews, where Perplexity attempts to use AI in order to directly answer users' questions instead of sending them to a page of links. Perplexity's answers do have links in them, but Perplexity aims to answer your question directly without requiring you to click on a link. And that's important because this fundamentally upsets the traditional search engine relationship where publishers allow search engines to index their site in return for the web traffic that they get to their site, which they can then monetize. All right, so what's going on with today's news with Perplexity? The Wall Street Journal and the New York Post have sued Perplexity for using their content without permission and without paying them. And in response, Perplexity has posted this blog post. Let's go through a few interesting parts of the post and I'll share my reactions to it. All right, let's just read the first two sentences. On Monday, we got sued by the Wall Street Journal and the New York Post. We were disappointed and surprised to see this. Is it just me, or does that phrasing seem unprofessional? On Monday, we got sued? I don't know. That just sounds rather casual to me. Maybe that's the tone they're going for, but it caught my attention for some reason. All right, let's move on. Here's the next paragraph. There are around 36 lawsuits by media companies against generative AI tools. The common theme betrayed by those complaints collectively is that they wish this technology didn't exist. They prefer to live in a world where publicly reported facts are owned by corporations and no one can do anything with those publicly reported facts without paying a toll. Let me just start by saying I'm no fan of the media, especially corporate-owned media. But as much as I may not like these companies, I think their business model is reasonable and valid. And I have a problem with how Perplexity is framing this. Perplexity has no idea whether these companies wish AI existed or not. And they're intentionally trying to create a us the good guys versus them the bad guys. Us the new tech companies versus them the old media companies. And it's so obvious it's not even creative or impressive. It's just blatant, uninteresting, and unconvincing. And it's just disingenuous. They're claiming that this dispute is about facts and that no one owns facts, when that's not what Perplexity is doing here. Perplexity is taking written content by these companies and using it to train their models. That goes beyond just gathering facts. They're grabbing and using content that took time to gather and create. And at this point, I'm reminded of the comment by Noam Chomsky, love him or hate him, who called AI just a, quote, high-tech plagiarism machine. And I think he has a point there. I think that AI has the capability of going beyond simple plagiarism, but copying or replicating training data is an aspect of the technology when you consider how the models are trained. These AI models take training data, also known as content, from web publishers and translate that into weights and biases that go into these complex large language models. So while they can credibly claim they're not actually copying the data or the content, they are using the data to arguably build a replica of the data in a different form within the language model. You could argue that the trained model contains the training content in the form of the weights and bias parameters built into the model. What's really going on here is Perplexity is taking content, using it to train its models, profiting from selling access to these models, and then when confronted by the content owners, they simply say, nobody owns facts. I have to say I'm a tech guy through and through. I love technology and the amazing future that all this will hopefully bring about. But this argument rings hollow. Let's scroll down for another interesting part of this blog post. Perplexity from its founding moment has always listed sources above answers and provided inline citations for every part of an answer. Oh, so that's great, Perplexity. You're providing inline citations, wonderful. But the problem remains, as I mentioned earlier, you're providing the answer directly on the page without providing monetizable traffic to the content owners. They're gonna have a problem with that. You're upsetting the traditional relationship between a search engine and a web publisher. So let's go down for another interesting part of this post. We should all be working together to offer people amazing new tools and build genuinely pie-expanding businesses. There are countless things we would love to do beyond what the default application of the law allows, which entail mutually beneficial commercial relationships with counterparties like the companies here who choose to sue rather than cooperate. Counterparties like the companies here who choose to sue rather than cooperate. I mean, what really seems to be happening here is that Perplexity offered the Wall Street Journal and the New York Post Perplexity's preferred revenue sharing deal. The publishers didn't accept that deal and are now suing Perplexity. The position from Perplexity seems to be either cooperate with us and get a little bit of revenue sharing, or don't, and we will continue to use your content and pay you nothing for it because, quote, no one owns facts, unquote. That makes no sense to me. To be fair, Perplexity didn't exactly say that. I'm paraphrasing, but this is the tone that I'm picking up. All right, I think I can stomach one more last little bit. Let's scroll down to that. There's a little bit more finger pointing and hand waving. I'm going to skip that. It's not all that interesting. But down here in the closing, Perplexity really gets all high and mighty. They say, AI-enhanced search engines are not going away. Perplexity is not going away. Listen, I'm going to say it. I'm no fan of these media companies, but I still don't think it's right for other companies to just steal their content. And the absolute arrogance here by Perplexity is something else. AI-enhanced search engines are not going away. Perplexity is not going away. I just like to make the point that newspapers and books and media companies in general have been around for hundreds of years. It's a proven, valuable business. AI has yet to be proven as a business model. I think it will at some point, but the arrogance here is so off-putting. The response from Perplexity seems quite naive and rather tone-deaf. Yes, these giant corporate media companies are awful. I'm not going to defend them. But if you take this statement and just substitute in the New York Post and put in your favorite independent creator, instead you might have a different opinion about Perplexity's point of view here. But that's all I have to say about this for now. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you next time.